Wilson pulls the trigger.
Welcome to the cockpit. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am so looking forward to hearing all your beautiful opinions on how the New York Jets should handle the NFL draft. Got a lot of different ways we could go. We've seen how free agency has played out. We're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to do it at 8:15. We'll start call-ins because I know you guys are going to be chomping at the bit. If you're on your way in, please drop a like on that like button. It helps the channel out greatly. Always good to have you in here. I see Mikey, Frank, Biker, Steven, Jerry, Hawk, Braisley, King. Who else we got in here? Joseph. Matt Curtis drops in. Return of the Jedi, Rusty Spooner. Fantastic. If you guys have an idea for a poll question, let me know. I'll throw it up in the live chat and we can discuss it as we go. Getting down to the nitty-gritty part of my beer selection. Going with the Amstel Light tonight. not the first choice in beverage. I got some a little early for the summer shandy, but I got two of those too. We're going till 10 o'clock tonight, boys. I'm going to hear all your thoughts. All your thoughts. Talk a little bit in the chat. See what we have going on over there. I see Emanon, Jet, Mark, Snowball, Gary, Jeremy, Manny, TJC, Dennis, not sure if I said Albert, Patrick, Ant, Manny, Nick. Thank you guys for coming in. We're going to have a nice little discussion tonight. Lots of stuff going in. Lots of stuff going on. Joseph says, hey. Bam. Let's see. What are you guys talking about in here? Somebody save this man a Guinness. Oh, geez. It's all right. I don't mind a Guinness. Like me, one of them Irish car bombs. Those are good. Got to pound them, though. Mark Riss says, Crowder joined the enemy. Where'd Crowder go? I didn't see this. I didn't see it at all. I've been running around all day. Haven't kept up on my Jet news. Enemy meaning the Bills or enemy meaning the Pats? Ooh, the Bills. Not good. Harlan says, why do we need more wide receivers? They're going to use more 2 tight end sets. With the bulked up line, they will probably be looking to run more. Yeah, I think we were looking to run a lot last year. So it just makes sense. All comes together. Hawk says, the more I watch George Pickens, the more he reminds me of DK Metcalfe. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and plays strong with attitude. I watched him pancake a defensive back on a run play. He hit me in the feels. Hawk, I know exactly which one you're talking about, and I love it. It's the, I don't remember which game it was, but he's at the bottom of the screen, and he takes the DB. He's like standing in line. He looks at the sideline, goes like this to shush, and then throws the defensive back once the play starts, and then looks back at the sideline and goes shh. I was like, oh, man, this guy's got an attitude. I like it. This is the kind of player that you want to try and target. Guys with a chip on their shoulder. A guy that hurt his ACL and dropped his draft stock immensely. Could have been the top receiver in this draft class. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with all this. Would they go the route of George Pickens? I think he's immensely talented. I like it a lot. Matt Curtis says, Ryan, No, he says, Matt Ryan was traded to the Colts today. Guess Baker's not there. Where does Baker go now? So I've been calling for Matt Ryan to the Colts just because it's out of conference. It just kind of made a lot of sense. I think that there's a good shot Baker goes to either the Seahawks, the Panthers. I don't know if Jameis has returned to the Saints yet, but if I were Baker, I would want the Saints more than any of those other spots because of Lattimore and Thomas and Kamara. Like that's a loaded team. Yeah, they're in a little bit of cap trouble, but I think that's a good spot to kind of be. But Matt Ryan, it's gonna be interesting. Only a third round pick is what he got traded for, which makes sense. I mean, he's on the last bit of his career here. So Colts get a starter. I mean, what they have? Philip Rivers like 2 years ago. They're just cycling through like old top tier quarterbacks and hoping they catch lightning in a bottle. I don't know. They seem like a team that could use a top draft pick quarterback. We'll see. Eagles own their first round pick this year. Rusty Spooner says, I'm tired of hearing about Jets fans being dicks to Becton, and it's not cool. I don't blame him for whatever you're acting like massholes. You're giving us real Jets fans a bad rep. Shake my head. Is that in reference to like Mekhi Becton being upset with Jets fans? I saw people posting things of like, hey, can you like respond to this workout and all that? Oh, what happened to my mic? That's that's why it sounds weird. Sorry, boys. This is the good one. It was using my AirPods. I was like, oh man, this sounds really goofy. Thank you, Scar City. Bam. It's people like you that make the show go round. Patrick says Scotch with a great cigar. Let's go, Ryan. I'm not a huge Scotch guy. I probably should get into it because I don't have to worry about like the burps and stuff. Cigars, I'm so-so. I'll do it if we're celebrating. But for the most part, I hate the taste that it leaves on your tongue the next morning. It takes you till like afternoon to get rid of it. Anthony says Crowder was the most productive wide receiver the past 3 years, and Berrios gets rewarded for other players' injuries. Sometimes that's how it works. I mean, look, Crowder, he's what, 29 years old? The Jets are clearly trying to go younger. I don't think that's I don't think that's necessarily a Berrios issue so much as it is a Crowder not staying healthy and opening the door for Berrios issue. Stretch T says we need a receiver. We need to give our quarterback a weapon man. It's so tiring of watching mid-tier wide receiver on the field and dropping everything. Imagine an arm talent like Wilson with a legit number one. We need it. That's the argument for going receiver early, for sure. Number 10, do you look at Garrett Wilson or Drake London? Drake London, for me, is definitely the guy that I would prefer to go after in the first round because he's got the size. He's got what I think will wind up being the speed. And what type of receiver is better for a quarterback than hey, I'm just going to huck it in the air and like, you go get it, Mr. Contested Catch, like filthy dude. And he's good with the yak too. Like he's a strong receiver. 220 pounds, 215 pounds, whatever it is. The Jets were looking at Mike Williams, the receiver from the LA Chargers, if he wasn't going to get re-signed. And he's like around 6'5". And I think Drake London measured in just under 6'4". So it wouldn't be a bad option. Carlos A says, I want Christian Watson in the second round. That's where I'm at. I would like to pick at 35 to either be Christian Watson, if Treylon Burks falls that far, I don't think he will, or George Pickens. Those would be like the three guys. Maybe Dotson if he's there. There's like a whole list of guys that I would be okay going with. Sean McAllister, where do you think Jameson Williams and Ojabo will go now after injuries? If we can grab guys like that in the second or third round, that would be a steal. I still would want edge and wide receiver in the first. So edge at 4 is important for me because I think if you unlock the potential of edge at 4, there's going to be a lot of guys. Like, let's say Hutchinson is gone. There's legitimately a thought that Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be there. You got Walker, you got Karlaftis, and you got Jermaine Johnson. You're going to have 4 edges, really, like the top end edge rushers to pick from. If you take an edge rusher at 4, it unlocks you for the rest of the draft. It basically allows you the opportunity to have like the guy. Go out and get your guy. Then you can go cornerback, you can go receiver, you can trade down, you can go linebacker at number 10. Like there's a whole lot of options that you could really go with. But Jamison Williams in the second round. See, if you go cornerback or trade down at 10, then you have the opportunity to go for a wide receiver in the second round, maybe like a Jamison Williams, who could have been the best receiver in this draft. Someone like a George Pickens, who had an injury, who could have been one of the best players in this draft. Going to be interesting to see. Ojabo is a fascinating talent. I don't think he goes in. I don't know if he makes it in the second round. If he's there in the third round, by all means, pull the trigger. But I think the first 2 rounds are too important to the core of our team that I wouldn't try to run the risk of a player that, just blew his Achilles. Definitely don't want to see that. Jake drops in with the super chat. Jake says, who's the receiver at number 10 you think is a huge leap from round 2? I just don't see the value. That's exactly my thinking as well. I think we're in better shape if we go edge rusher corner or edge rusher trade down as opposed to edge rusher receiver. But if they want to go receiver and they fall in love with Drake London or Garrett Wilson, I'm okay with it. It just kind of feels like someone said earlier in the stream, if we're going to go the route of more tight end packages, why would you invest the number 10 pick on a wide receiver when you can use the fourth, your second round pick at 35? There's going to be a lot of first round talent that falls to that pick. You may not get the top guy that you want, but I think there's a lot of really good players that I would look at. I'm right there with you, Jake. I think that the value for receiver is in the top of the second round as opposed to number 10 overall. If I had to go at number 10, Drake London would be the guy I would look for. Nothing against Garrett Wilson. Definitely like him. If London goes at, say, 8 to the Falcons, then sure, I would consider Wilson at 10. I would still like the corner because of the difficulty in trying to find a top-end corner. I think you could find receiver at the top of the second. Jets NY drops in the super chat, says, draft Dean to cover the screen. I like Nakobe Dean a lot. There's a thought that if you go your edge rusher at 4 and at 10 you have the opportunity to trade down to pick 18, 19, 20, somewhere in there. 20 with the Steelers is a popular one, but I don't know if they're trying to jump in front of the Commanders now that they've, got Wentz there. If you do that, that's where I would take Dean. I don't think I could take Dean at 10 with not necessarily having the trade down. I think linebacker in the top 10 is a tough ask for the Jets, but if you could pick up a first next year and get Dean, all about it. Dean is my top linebacker. Jack Filipowski drops in the super chat, says, tinfoil hat on, trade 4 and 10 to the Lions for 2 and 32, then move up from 32 for with one of our seconds draft value. It works. No. I don't want to do that because I think the Lions are going to take Malik Willis. So if you think it's going to go Hutchinson, Malik Willis, and then some defensive player, I would think. You're probably looking at Hamilton at 3 or I don't know. I get the feeling the Texans are going to be looking at Linderbaum at 12. So that's where they're going to get their offensive linemen. So I'm thinking a defensive player for them at number 3. The Jets are going to have their pick of probably 4 of the top 5 edge rushers at number 4, and the Jets should absolutely make that pick there because it frees you up the rest of the draft. Because there is nothing more important than getting to the quarterback and finding that guy we haven't had in the last few years. Love it. Absolutely love it. I see you guys talking about, whoa, that angle. Joe says it's a weird angle. Sorry. I got another camera and I was like, oh, let's see what I could do with it. Look at Mario. What up, Ryan? Like the addition of the new angle, right? Kind of fun. Jerome likes it. What up, dude? Thank you. One more minute, then we're going to go to the phones. Kyle Ormsby drops in with a super chat. Kyle says, do you think we address edge, wide receiver, and linebacker in the first 2 rounds? I think we definitely do edge. I think we do wide receiver. I think we do safety. And then the other one's up for debate. I wouldn't go linebacker in the top 2 rounds unless it was like Dean or if you really fall in love with Muma. For me, if I had to rank the way I would probably go, I'd probably go edge, corner, receiver, safety, and then you're probably talking like linebacker, defensive tackle, and linebacker, defensive tackle, maybe a running back or tight end. Like if you want Ruckert in the 3rd or 4th round, I think that's cool. If you want to go with a linebacker in that range, I think that's fine. I don't think it would be wise to go linebacker in the top 2, really, or at least I wouldn't prefer that route. Jake says, "Would you trade down in top 10 if it's KT? Don't want him. I don't really want Kayvon Thibodeau. And it's not so much the issue of skill with him. It's a testament to the rest of the edge class. Like I think the whole edge class as a whole is really, really good. And I think it would be a mistake to take someone that maybe has some doubts in his passion for the game. Like if it's not in his forefront. Like for me, there's plenty of people that have careers that do their careers well, and it's just not their passion. For me, I'm the director of golf at a golf course, and my passion is jets. That's not unlike other things that you do in your career. Now, granted, he's been doing this for a very long time. It's going to be definitely the way he goes for his career. But at a point, I think people and teams kind of look at a player and determine, hey, is all his focus going to be here? When he's coming to the facility, is he giving it 100%, or is he like keeping in mind some other things? And it's not to say that's a bad thing, but I think there's a certain mindset that does lend itself to maybe a little more dedication or, a camaraderie within the locker room. I'm not sure. We'll see. All right. So let's jump over to the phone lines. Phone number is on the screen. You guys can call in. We'll talk a little Jets. Hopefully I did this correctly and everything is working swimmingly. Lots of stuff to discuss. I see people calling in right at 8:15. Guys, hold me to it. Oh boy. Who we got? Welcome to the cockpit.
Call from.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, so I was thinking, beginning of the draft season, it was weird how the mock was going out. It was going to be Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, what's his name, Hamilton, or Stingley. And it's weird because now all of a sudden you hear about Stingley's injury prone, and the Jets. That's not really a good fit for him. You want players who can stay healthy. You don't want another D. Milliner who we had in 2010. He didn't even play, I'm pretty sure, one snap in the regular season for the Jets. So, in my opinion, I think Kayvon Thibodeau is a good choice at number 4. I think it's just a smoke screen from the other teams that want him to drop down so they can take him. I mean, I really don't see the issues with fire in his play. He looks like a guy who has a very high motor, has lots of grit, and he looks like he can be a lethal defensive edge rusher for the Jets line. We can be an elite defense. Also, I think you take Garrett Wilson at number 10 because Traylon Burks, while he's good, I don't see him having that wide open ability that Garrett Wilson has. Every play in Ohio State, well, almost every play, he was always wide open and he can catch and make plays. And that's what the Jets need, really.
Yeah, look, I think if they take Thibodeau at number 4, I have no problem with it. I think the talent is 100% there. I think, for me, I would just prefer maybe another edge rusher because I think the talent is comparable across a few different guys. But I do like Garrett Wilson at 10. If they think that is the next Odell Beckham Jr., that is worth its weight in gold, I think 100%. And I don't know if there's necessarily another position I love at 10. If Sauce winds up falling to 10, I think I'm pulling the trigger on him. If there's a trade down where we can get a first next year, I think I'm pulling the trigger on that before I take Wilson. But Wilson and Drake London, I think, provide some special stuff that I don't know some of the other second-round receivers will be able to do. But I think it's important to have receivers that'll grow with Zach Wilson for sure. I think it shouldn't not be understated by any means. Is there some way you want to see us? Oh, sorry. Say that again.
I'm sorry. Yeah, even though Garrett Wilson is a good receiver in this draft, like if this was last year's draft and Garrett Wilson was in there, I don't see him being taken in the first round at all. I see him like a second round receiver, more like Elijah Moore. But even though he has that first round talent this year, he still is a great fit for the Jets. We can't get receivers who are constantly wide open for Zach Wilson, and some of them can't catch, like Denzel Mims. How many passes did he drop during the regular season that should have been easily caught for 15-yard gains? We need players like that who will work for the ball and work with the quarterback and pick good steam.
Yeah, for sure. Contested catches is going to be a big one. I know Mims was pretty good at contested catches, but I think it's just a totally different style of I don't know if he was just in his own head or whatever it is, but I think looking towards those Georgia, the SEC type receivers, I think you have more of a proven track record with those types of guys. I don't know. I see the value more at the top end of the second than I do at number 10, but we shall see. Brother, thank you so much for the call. You've been a from the cockpit.
You're out of here!
All right, let's pull up some super chats. Iowan Jets fan drops in, says, lobbing this grenade out there. What if we don't pick up a wide receiver before round 3 because we have Mims? That would be a serious issue for me. I don't think that's a good idea. Look, whatever we get from Mims is bonus right now. I think we plan as if he's not going to be here long term, and then anything we get out of him, it's gravy. Absolute gravy. I would not roll the dice on 3rd round. That would be a bad move, I think. Taps Any Button drops in with super chat, says, if Kayvon Thibodeau is there at 4, I'm taking him. If Jermaine Johnson or George Karlaftis is there at 10, I'm taking him. Simply put, I'm not scared to take KT because I believe in our coaching staff and his upside. You were overthinking. Are you saying you would take both Thibodeau plus Jermaine Johnson or George Karlaftis? I think that's a bad move. That might not be smart. I mean, I guess if you're saying hey, we don't know what Lawson's going to be, let's get both our edge rushers and an edge rusher heavy class now, that would be fascinating. I didn't see that happening. I guess that, anything's in the realm of possibility, but I would think double dipping at edge in the top 10 or receiver. I've seen people talk about receiver double dipping in the top 10. I was like, that's not smart. Don't do that. I'd be pretty upset if that wound up happening. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Number is on the screen. You get 3 minutes to make your case on what the Jets should do this offseason. I want to hear from all you guys. Taps Any Button says either or, not double dip. So, something to keep in mind.
Call from
Mark.
I'd be pretty upset.
Mark, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's up, man?
Just having a good old time talking to you guys. Tell me, what's on your mind, brother?
Definitely. I mean, I know everyone's saying take a receiver at 10. I mean, I agree, but if someone like Hamilton or Sauce is there, I feel like you have to take them, even with the big receiver need, because I feel like you could still get talent in the 2nd round. Burks might fall. There's people that might fall there. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm 100% on that. I think there's a lot of really good receivers. Jameson Williams could fall out of the 1st round. I think you got Pickens right there, who blew up the combine. You have Watson, who destroyed the combine. Dotson looks like he's going to be pretty good. He was actually the Jets' first pick in the Senior Bowl because they alternate picks, but he wound up not playing in the Senior Bowl or even going to the Senior Bowl, so he wasn't an option. But I think the Jets are targeting that 2nd round. We heard rumors of them liking Watson. I don't get the feeling receiver is at 10. But the way their whole free agency period was, our biggest needs, it's defensive end and it's wide receiver. So if they pull the trigger at 10, I would understand it. But I'm with you, dude. I think the value is absolutely in the 2nd round.
Yeah, because there's even Pickens from Georgia. I know he's coming off an injury, which is not really good for the Jets because with our luck, anything can happen. But he was going to be maybe the best receiver, top receiver pick. Maybe in the 2nd round, that's great value there. But we never know. I don't think there's really value there in free agency anymore because Odell, there's not really anything there at receiver. But
yeah,
I think
agree.
definitely I think we should go best player available at 10. That's what I'm thinking.
So best player available at 10?
Yeah, because I feel like we shouldn't reach unless we don't love I know some people let's say that we love Drake London and stuff like that. I don't think we should reach unless we absolutely fall in love with a receiver.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. I would prefer like Sauce. I mean, honestly, I might prefer Nakobe Dean at 10 over a receiver, like if I'm really being honest. But I would say I would
Yeah,
prefer like Sauce or a corner at number 10 and then trade down. And then look at, then start to think about receiver. I just, top 10 for me, I think there's more value you could get than going receiver. Not to mention there's some sort of weird dynamic at play in like my head where it's like, hey, if you take guys in the second round, then they're like comparable draft slots. It's not like, hey, this guy's the top dog, this guy's not the top dog. I don't know. Maybe that's just something stupid to like consider, but I don't know. Feelings.
Another thing.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Kayvon Thibodeau thing, if he's there at 4, which I don't even think he's going to be because I don't think he gets past Houston. Because I think it's locked. Hutchinson's going 1. I think that's locked already. I mean, it might not happen, but I think like it's like 80% he's locked with how they did their free agency and stuff. But I feel like if Thibodeau's there like at 10, I mean at 4, like you have to take him. He's like a generational talent. Like he's like, I feel like he's like the type of talent the Jets need. Like.
That's it! You're out of here!
You have been ejected from the cockpit. Sorry, dude. Good thoughts, though. Good thoughts. Jake drops in with the super chat. Thank you, Jake. Jake says, who's cutting to this cool new side profile? Wife producing in the back? Yeah, I got a USB cord going all the way into the back. Becca's in the bedroom just like, clicking. Nah, I gotta create some kind of like phantom helper that's helping me. Sorry. It's a cool angle though, right? Trying to step up the production game as best I can for you guys. Do it for the people. And it gets me a little confused sometimes because then I start talking, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing myself from the side. It's like, wait a second. Oh, what do I do? I think it's really cool, and I don't know what to say. But yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool. Who we got?
Call from
Tiago.
Tiago,
Press one.
what's good, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Thanks, man. Glad to be back.
Yeah,
so
good to have you on.
yeah, so like, okay, my thing is I totally understand the concept of wide receiver at 10 not being as ideal as someone like Sauce, because I'm totally on board with the like, I like Sauce at 4, like you've been saying, right? Like, I want him on the Jets so badly. But like my thing is this, is with so many teams that I consider that are wide receiver needy in round 1, like even ahead of us, I think Atlanta's out on the QB market because of the signing of Mariota. I think that's a Band-Aid to get them into a better QB year next year where they can draft someone. Like you look at teams just in the first round that could legitimately take a wide receiver. We know the Packers have to take one. They lost Devontae Adams. Like you have to take one there. New England can take one. The Bills can take one. Like there's so many teams that you can just keep going down the list. We have no idea what Houston's going to do at 13. They're a wild card. They can take another receiver because outside of Brandon Cooks, who do they really have? You know, the Chargers might still be in the game for a receiver just to try to like throw as many weapons in one of the scariest divisions in football. Like doesn't I get scared of the fact of like, if we pass on a receiver at 10 and we go Sauce and we go, let's say, Jermaine Johnson at 4, Sauce Gardner at 10, I'm super happy. But at 35, there's a good to fair chance that Jahan Dotson's gone, George Pickens is gone, Christian Watson might be gone. Like, that's a realistic possibility because the Lions pick 32 and 33. Who says one of those picks isn't a receiver? DJ Chark's not the answer there. I'm just, like, does that not scare you that this draft has so many teams that need a receiver to like say pass one on 10 and wait for 35 to get one?
I think the biggest thing that scares me is seeing the contracts of DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams, because those guys getting close to $30 million a year will push the need for a receiver higher into the first round to get that cheap valued contract. So I do think you have something there, but you're talking about Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Treylon Burks, Jermaine Wilson, or Jameson Williams, John Doxson, Pickens, Watson. You know, I don't know if there's any other ones that I'm missing right there, but that's 7 receivers. Like there's not too many times that many receivers go in the first round. I guess in theory it could happen, and that would be like the worst case scenario for sure. But I don't know. I think I'd be willing to roll the dice on that type of situation just because we want to use the running backs, we want to use the tight ends, and we still have Corey Davis. We got Elijah Moore. Like, it's not like we're leaving ourselves high and dry. But I can understand the fear for sure.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for listening.
Of course, dude. That was a good question. I appreciate the thought. You've been ejected from the cockpit.
You're out of here!
All right. Let's go over to Andrew Yale. Andrew Yale drops in with a super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, how about trading down from 10 to get a linebacker, trade back into the first for a wide receiver? That's not a bad idea. If you trade down from 10, then use some of the ammo to come back up into the first round, then you get your receiver locked in on a 5-year contract. And I think that's probably something that's really valuable for sure. So if you can trade down, let's say from 10 to 20, you get Nakobe Dean there, and then you go from 38 or 35, either one back into the middle of the first round, like the 20s or so. I would like that. There's going to be a good receiver there. I think there's going to be a good receiver at 35, but if you want to go up and get a guy, maybe you want Watson on a 5-year deal, would not be upset. I don't know how to say this. Ilrums? Irums? Ulrums? Thank you for the super chat. He says, who is your favorite edge rusher in the draft? I don't necessarily have a favorite. I have like a lot of guys that I think would be worthy of the pick. I think Kayvon Thibodeau's athletic gifts and the way he stacks his pass rush moves is elite. I think my personality concerns are where I fall on him. I really like Trayvon Walker. I think there's a really good shot that he ends up on the Jets at number 4, as well as Jermaine Johnson. Those are the two guys that I would prefer over Thibodeau. Karlaftis I really like, but I'd probably target him at 10 if we went a different direction at 4. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Taps any button! Drops in with the super chat. Thank you, brother. Means a whole heck of a lot. He says, in all seriousness, I've been a Jets fan for 22 years and have never gotten one pick right besides Zach Wilson. With that being said, something crazy is always going to happen because it's unpredictable. We can only hope for the best. Yes, I have had zillions of mock drafts that I have done over the course of the last 5 years, and even before that, before I started making content. And very rarely am I right. I shouldn't say very rarely, but as an overall thing for the Jets, I'm, very rarely like super dialed in. Last year I said we'd go after Wilson and Elijah Vera Tucker. I didn't think we'd trade up for AVT, but I thought it was a good move. And then everything else after that, I thought we were going defense in the second round. I thought we were going to look at an edge rusher. I thought we were going to look at a cornerback, but they totally flipped it on me. They went offense heavy, and I think this year you're going to see the opposite. I think you might see like defense heavy. But you got to tune in to our draft stream. Myself, O'Leary, and Greenme. We're going to be streaming all 3 days of the draft. Can't wait. And I just started reaching out to people. We got some special guests coming on. I know Jake's going to be there. Asman, Richie, Joe Blewett, Sabo. Who else you got? You got Sack Exchange, NYJ Today. Am I missing anyone? Ali from Loyal NY Jet Fans coming in. We're going to be rocking. Thomas Cahill drops in the super chat, says, trade Fant for a second. Sign Ikem for right tackle. I know the Jets like Ikem. Like, I can get it. I understand it. We've heard a lot of smoke around that. But I just don't want to go that route. It's like really like not... We fixed offensive line. Like, let's go after some issues. Like, Joe Douglas fancies himself an offensive line scout. Earn your worth. Absolutely earn your worth. Draft guys in the 4th and 5th round and develop them. We have guys for the next 2 years. There's no reason to spend another first-round pick on an offensive lineman. As much as I like Icky, and I had us taking Icky for a long time, but I think because of the way we handled our free agency, it would be a misallocation of resources to go that way. But trading Fant for a second, I think Fant's better than Becton right now. I wouldn't get rid of him. Fant is the only person I think is a lock to be on this team on the offensive line at tackle position. Who we got?
Call from
Paul.
What's good, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm hanging in there. Talk to me.
Good. So listen, don't put me on the clock because I'll be less than 3 minutes. Ryan,
It's all right.
I want to talk about one more thing that a lot of you young guys, maybe Green Bean can relate. I've been watching this team as long as Green Bean has. You know what, Ryan? You're a good guy. You know, this guy, the Jet Central kid, is a good kid. But you know what? Guess what? I don't want to get another number one pick next year. I don't want to. Because as a Jet fan and as a season ticket holder, you're going to lose a lot of fans, Joe Douglas. Robert Saleh got 1 year. He's not a tactician. He's a rah-rah-rah guy. You need to produce this year. You need to not hit and not miss, but to hit. So my point being is that we're all concentrating on all this stuff when we should focus on the following things. A, we don't have a good wide receiver. We don't. Corey Davis gets hurt a lot. Should we get a homegrown receiver that we haven't gotten since the likes of God knows Keyshawn Johnson? We should at number 10. And guess what? Another thing, too, is a lot of people don't realize is we have a quarter that you see with Baker Mayfield what's happening now, right? He's been loved over the first couple of years, and now he's throwing out the garbage. We don't know how number 2 is going to be. If he gets hurt and we bring Mike White like last year and Mike White produces, what are we going to do? That's what people don't focus on the product now, not a 2023 pick and not a 2020. Here's my opinion. If they do trade down, here's one guy you can go look on YouTube and see that they're sleeping on, who I think is a good player, solid player, not a Kayvon Thibodeau, is George Karlaftis.
Oh, I love Karlaftis.
Sleeping out there.
Yeah, I mean, look, he can go in the top 10. There's no reason he can't
go in the top 10. He can go into the second round. I think instead of Sauce Gardner is not even in the realm of Revis. We shouldn't focus on. What we should focus on is a D lineman and a wide receiver. We need a homegrown wide receiver, not a second round pick like Denzel Mims or first round. I think Garrett Wilson fits the system very well because let's remember one thing. We're copying the 49ers. We got to get a fullback. We got one now. We need a tight end. We need a Deebo Samuel, anybody who runs routes. Hello, Denzel Mims, you don't run routes. We don't need you. So if we're going to mimic where Robert Saleh came from, this is the year, Ryan. This is the year. Poor Joe Douglas, he's a great guy, but this is the year. No 2023 first-round pick. We have 9 picks in this draft. They all have to hit. My friend, I love you. You're a great guy.
Oh, come on. I got to talk. Don't you leave.
Go ahead.
I'm not letting you leave. I got 20 seconds. All right. No, I think Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, they absolutely have to win games. You can't go through winning 4 games, this year. You're going to have to come out and win 6 to 8, ideally 7+ games. You have to be in the conversation in December for a wild card spot. But I don't think you have to.
Ticket prices are risen now, by the way, fellas.
Yes.
They had the goal to raise our prices. Go ahead.
Oh, of course they will. They're never going to stop. And boom! You've been ejected.
You're out
from
of
the
here!
cockpit. I didn't wait till I got to 0 because my watch hit the the button. Sorry about that. That was a good call, though. I like the energy. Karlaftis isn't making it to the second round, though. He may not make it to 20. It's a lot of edge needs. Who we got?
Call from
Mr. Motivation.
Ooh, what's good, Mr. Motivation? How you doing tonight?
What's up, Ryan?
Just hanging out. Talk to me, brother.
Oh, no, I just got a lot on my mind, man. Like, this is probably the most craziest free agency I've ever seen in all my years of watching football by far.
Dude, it has been bananas. I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I don't know, how it could be. Like, the NFL is second to none. I'm at work, and I'm like, oh, man, this person got traded? Oh, man, that person got signed where? What? Totally caught me off guard on, half the stuff that's happened.
I agree with you on that. And honestly, now that Atlanta has traded away Matt Ryan and now got Marcus Mariota, I guess that gives us an option on what receiver we truly want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends if Atlanta is going quarterback, which I don't think they will. I think they might sit back, and if someone falls to them that they like, sure, they'll pull the trigger on it. But I don't think they're necessarily targeting quarterback high. I think they're looking wide receiver. And it's going to be between Wilson and London as to who they take. And I think we're going to get the second of those two. I would consider taking receiver at 10 if it's London, because he's just such a different profile, and he matches up very similarly to Mike Williams out in L.A., which is the Jets were rumored to go after him if you were going to hit the free agent market. So I think that's the kind of receiver they're looking for, even though I agree Garrett Wilson is like legitimately a scary route runner. I think he's like Odell Beckham 2.0. I would have no problem going either way with those guys.
I'm the same way. Like, I mean, I was a little skeptical on Drake London because I'm not really a big fan of guys that really come out of USC. But after everything I've been seeing from him, like, it kind of like changed me a little bit.
Dude, if he runs fast in his 40, and it's kind of goofy to say that, I think he plays faster than, you know, you might think, especially someone his height. He's just aggressively like big. But I still see the value at the top of the second round. Like, that's where I would prefer to go receiver, because I don't think you're going to see that many go before pick 35.
I agree with you on that. And I have a serious question for you. I mean, sure. I doubt this is going to happen, but if it did, if Jameson Williams ends up being in the second round and we pick at number 35, do you automatically grab him or pass on him?
It depends who else is there and how they feel about like Watson and Dotson. Like, if you have your choice between Pickens, Watson, and Jameson Williams, I won't fault them for not going with the guy that tore his ACL. Well, I guess Pickens did too. But either way, I think you pick whoever you like the most. I like Jameson Williams a lot. I would 100% go after him if he's there at 35. But I do really like what Watson brings to the table. I think he's got some elite speed, and I think he's got some really, really good hands. But Mr. Motivation, you have been ejected from the cockpit.
You're out of here!
Mumtaz drops in with a super chat. Mumtaz says, check in Pro Football Focus rankings for our defensive line and linebackers put me in depression. Quinnen ranked 37th, Rankins 98. We need to go defensive tackle at 10, and we can pick best one, or we can go linebacker, also ranked poorly. We can get the best one. I think there is a legitimate thought that the Jets are going to go defensive tackle early in this draft. I don't love it, but I can understand it. Edge rusher for me at 4. And then maybe you're talking like defensive tackle, best one there at 10. I really don't want to see defensive tackle that high. Like I would like to believe that we could kind of make these guys, groom them up a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to see it, but if they did, I could understand it. I don't want to see wide receiver. I don't know. I think having Carl Lawson back is going to make Quinnen better. I think it's going to make John Franklin Myers better. I think having another edge rusher is going to make all those three better. Why waste a top 10 pick on a defensive tackle when you may have the solution in-house? I don't know. I understand the need. I don't love going that high on it. Jared drops in with Super Chat. Jared says, I think Walker is like John Franklin Myers, inside, outside rusher. What if we took Walker at 4 or 10, then took a pure edge guy in the second? Would that be redundant? I think you can play either one, John Franklin Myers or Walker, out wide. And I think that's the attractive nature of it, because you can kick John Franklin Myers in. You can have Walker go on the outside. The guy's got like 35-inch arms. That's an enormous wingspan. There's going to be other guys that fall to the second round that they really like that are edge rushers too. Like maybe they pull the trigger on Sauce at 4, which I don't think I love anymore. I liked that before the Seattle trade and before the Falcons losing Ridley and trading away Matt Ryan. I might go a different direction at that point. So we shall see. Oh, what's up, Green Bean? How you doing in there? Green Bean and I were talking earlier. Had a good conversation with Mr. O'Leary as well. Excited for tomorrow's stream. Phone number is on the screen. Gonna take some calls. You get 3 minutes to plead your case on how you would rebuild the New York Jets.
Call from
Matty Ice.
Matty Ice, you just got traded to the Colts. What's going on, brother? Oh, no, he hung up on me. All right, here, chicken.
That's it! You're out of here!
Whatever. What's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Saul's Gorman.
What's good, dude? Welcome to the cockpit. Sorry. Listen to your phone, not to the stream. The stream is lagged behind the phone call. If you're listening to the stream to get your answer, I'm going to eject you.
That's it! You're out of here!
Just like that. Who we got?
Call from.
Chad.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
What's good, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, what's up, Ryan?
I'm hanging in there. Talk to me. How would you rebuild the New York Jets?
Well, first thing I just wanted to say, I'm one of those old heads. Been a Jets fan since like '76, and it's been a treacherous road most of the way. And I just want to say that you're taking up the mantle very well. We appreciate you, man.
Oh, thank you.
And,
I appreciate
my
that.
question, my question for you is, what's the status with Carl Lawson? Is what does his recovery look like, and how does that impact our draft picture? Thanks.
So I think for me, I would say I'm not like, I don't want to overly feel confident about Carl Lawson, but I like the way Cam Akers, the running back for the Rams, came back from his Achilles injury. He tore his Achilles in like June or July, and he came back for the Super Bowl, and he looked explosive for, I think it was 2 games that he wound up playing. I think he was in the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. So if Carl Lawson can capture that same type of explosion, and I think he's got the work ethic to do it, we are going to be in a really good spot. But for me, I'm taking the edge rusher at 4. Pick whoever you want, to your heart's content. Whatever guy you deem as the best edge rusher, make the pick there. Don't worry about it, and then you can free up the rest of your draft. Because I think if you go out of this draft without taking one, and Lawson's bad, you're going into next offseason with Lawson's cap hit. You know, it's not bad, but you can move on from him after this year. And ideally, him coming back off an injury, it might take him a year to kind of get back up to speed. It's not guaranteed he's going to hit the ground running the same way he was looking in preseason last year. But I think you hope for the best with him, and you prepare for the worst by taking the edge rusher, which you need anyway on the opposite side. And then you have Huff, you have Ane, you have Jacob Martin, who you just brought in. So you got some guys to rotate in to keep everyone fresh. Is there an edge rusher that you particularly like in this class?
You know, I got to be honest. I'm not a real expert on keeping a track of college football players. I follow Notre Dame pretty much exclusively, and you know, so I don't really have a good grasp on that.
Do you like?
One last thing I'd like to.
Do you like? Oh no! If you got one last thing, fire away.
I just wanted to kind of comment on that previous gentleman about Saleh and Douglas. Sure. You know, I've seen a lot of coaches and a lot of GMs, and these are the first 2 guys to me that seem like they are, sound, put together, football guys. I don't recall having anybody quite like these guys in my time being a Jets fan.
I completely agree. I think Douglas is the best GM I've ever seen since I've been alive, and that's, I'm 32 years old. I've been watching the Jets since 1995. I really like him. Saleh, we need to win. I like his personality. He's exactly the type of coach I want, but I think you got to see how it all shakes out, and do they start winning this year? I think you got to see a few more wins, see the fire, get some guys excited, and then you go into next offseason with guys wanting to come to the Jets the same way guys wanted to go to Cincinnati. But, brother, thank you so much for calling in. You have been
That's it! You're out of here!
Oh, man. Chicken. I love it. Guys are talking in the chat. Got some interesting conversations going on over there. Guys, if you're listening to the chat, listening to the stream, we got like 400 people in here. Drop a like.
Call from
Lima Bean.
Oh, man, it's Lima Bean. What's good, brother?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Ryan.
Of course. How you feeling tonight?
Overall, I'm actually really happy with free agency, but I am worried about the wide receiver position just because I don't want to see Tariq Black out there. No offense to him, but it's scary. The amount of injuries that happened to our receiver core and how bad they've been overall. Just after looking at the NFL, you see what they mean to just about every modern team. It's pretty bad. Like without having one, the big step up that Josh Allen took was with Stephon Diggs. I mean, Joe Burrow had 5 legitimate weapons. That's why he didn't need an offensive line. He spread the defense so thin. So basically, I understand the value is at 2 for the second round pick, but at the same time, I don't want to be pigeonholed where like all the really good ones that the Jets were eyeing are taken in the late first, and the next thing you know, we're taking Chad Hansen and Ardarius Stewart all over again, you know?
Yeah, dude, I don't want that. I'm with you. Someone else brought up the idea of trading down and then trading back up. So trading down from 10, getting maybe Nakobe Dean, and then trading back up to get your receiver in front of a team looking to like snatch him there. And I have no problem with that. I think that's a really good move because then you lock these guys in on 5-year contracts. And then you kind of spread out like when wide receiver, this year in the first round needs his contract, that's going to be 2 years after Elijah Moore. So you can kind of space out your receiver money a little bit. So it's not a bad option to go receiver in the first round. I just don't want to go it at 10. Or maybe you go it at 10 and then you trade back up for someone like a Dean. I don't know. It's tough to kind of gauge.
And as much as I love Nakobe Dean, it's just what helps Zach Moore. Like, we won't go anywhere unless he takes a big step up. We got to learn to put 30 to 35 points a game. It's just look at the AFC, look at the quarterbacks we're facing. This schedule just got tougher for us, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, it saddens me to hear so many people want defensive tackles. Like, have we not done this song and dance again? Like, how many times are we going to take a hidden production defensive tackle that underwhelms us? We already took Leo Williams, we already took Quinnen Williams when we should have took Josh Allen, the defensive end. Like, let's be like most modern teams and take a tackle in the later rounds or wherever else. Like, there has to be something else. Like, there has to be. Like, it's just, we need a wide receiver, we need a defensive end. And those are our biggest things ever. Like, without Zach progressing forward, and even though I know we're going to play a heavy 12 personnel, even the biggest 12 personnel team only goes 35 to 40% of the time. We still got like 60 to 70% left. We need receivers. And not to mention, you're asking a lot from our second-year receiver and also from the guy we got last year, like to take big steps up. And that's a lot.
That's it! You're out of here!
Ejected from the cockpit. I don't disagree. I understand having the concern, and I think trying to get the wide receiver in the first round, there's a lot of value in that, and you don't want to be left high and dry, especially the way our free agent period looked. Defensive tackle, I agree. I think it's a need, but I don't think it's something that I want to address in like the top, I'll be honest, like the top 3-4 rounds. Like if you want to take a developmental one in the 4th round, maybe I consider that, but like I really don't want to go defensive tackle. I think the value is edge rusher. I think it's, as much I want to take Sauce. I'm just stuck on that. I want to take Sauce at 10 if he's there. If not, trade down, go with, a Dean or someone like that. Maybe you go with the receiver there, but I think moving towards receiver in the 2nd round or trading up towards the tail end of the 1st, I think there's a real shot the Jets are looking to move up into the 1st round at the back end. And I would love it, especially maybe a team like, maybe they call up their old buddy, Mike McDaniel. And they're like, hey, come on, trade with us. I know he's on the Dolphins, but we'll swing some picks. We've made some trades with the Patriots. Why not? Could see it happening. Kelvin drops in the super chat, says Ravens would take Linderbaum at 14. Why not us at 10? Because we don't necessarily need to take one at 10. I think there's going to be a lot of options for us, as well as keeping McGovern. I don't hate the idea of London. I think not London. I don't hate the idea of Linderbaum. I just think we have a lot of other needs. Why strengthen an already strong offensive line when you can strengthen a weakness in the defensive line or the defensive backfield? Maybe it's a linebacker. Maybe it's just trading down in general. I think there's a real shot the Texans, I think they're at, 12 now? I think if the Texans are at 12, they might take Linderbaum there, and then the Ravens can't. So maybe the Ravens and Jets talk trade going from 10 down to 14, and the Jets pick up, I don't know. What is it? Is it a 2nd round pick? Is it a 3rd round pick? I'll take an extra 3rd. Go 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th. I love me some draft capital. Got some options, boys. John drops in with the super chat. John says, I thought I saw that we traded the 4th pick to Philly for 15 and 19. I think there is absolutely a legitimate thought to that. If they want to come up and get Thibodeau or an edge rusher of their choice, and the Jets are like, hey, we think someone's going to wind up falling to us at number 10, an edge rusher. Let's move back. Let's get 15 and 19. I'm all for it. Joe Douglas's former team, make it happen. Absolutely make it happen. Let's see. Where did I see this? I just saw someone join the channel. I want to throw it on the screen. Am I going to find it? I'm not going to find it now. Well, anyway, thank you, A Blab Studios. Hey, Blab Studios, thank you so much for joining the newest member of the Jets Talk 24/7 family. Make sure you guys hit that JETS emoji in the chat so that way I can see you guys support the channel. Thank you so much. Let's see. Alibaba Studio says, where is the call-in number? The call-in number is right at the top screen. Right there. Call-in number's right there. When I do the Super Chats, I pull the Google Voice down so that way it's not ringing in the background. So as I'm doing this, obviously go to the Super Chats, then I'll get your thoughts right there. But call-in number will go on in just a second. Edward Ziff drops in with a Super Chat. Edward said, well, not Super Chat. He gets a Super Chat for being a member of the channel. Free Super Chat. Thank you for being a member for 10 months. He says, trade number 4 and number 69. Trade number 4 and 69 for what? Are we going up? I don't want to go up. Or you want to go down from 4, up from 69? Or down from 4, down from 69? I need more details. I need more details. All right, Google Voice is back up. If you don't get through, just keep on calling. Just means there's a lot of people calling in. You can't get your voice heard, so make sure you hang around.
Call from
Mike the Barber.
Mike the Barber, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, Jet Nation. How do you feel about taking 2 edges and just solidifying, taking the maximum value? What do you think?
Ooh, you're saying going 2 edge rushers in the top 10?
Just solve it. They cost a lot of money. Just draft them now.
Oh God, I've seen a few people say that, and I don't think I could sign off on that. We have so many needs. I mean, if you love, I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it. If you want to go and tell me you want to take Jordan Davis or Wyatt or someone like that might be a really strong defensive tackle, and you want to get an edge rusher, maybe I see it, but like I don't want that. I really want to try and spread this around. And if you can get your cornerback, because look, I like DJ Reed a lot. He's a top 10 corner last year. I think he's a lock to be on this team for the next 2 years. But if you take a corner in the first round, you got a cheap corner under contract for 5 years, and then you have the option of franchise tagging that player. And statistically speaking, I mean, now maybe this is getting to your point, there's a 50% chance of a first-round pick busting. So if you go double dip at edge, you're guaranteed to get one, quote unquote.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want Sauce too, but the odds say I probably shouldn't. Probably should just take the lineman.
Oh, dude, I understand it. I completely get not wanting to go, like wanting Sauce, but not, wanting to go Sauce. That's why I was like almost like interested in the trading for Danielle Hunter, because it's like, oh, if we trade for Danielle Hunter, that might put Sauce back on the table. And now I think the only way you should go Sauce is if he's there at 10. I don't know if you could pull the trigger at 4 on him with our needs.
Really?
I don't know. If they think that there's going to be more quarterbacks going in the top 10 and they think an edge rusher is going to fall to number 10, I'm okay with that because I like more edge rushers than I like cornerbacks. And I like.
Who are you going to take at 4 anyway?
4, I'm going.
We're not
edge
taking
rusher.
Thibodeau.
No, I don't want Thibodeau.
We're not taking that.
Walker or Jermaine Johnson are the 2 guys I'm kind of keeping my eye on. I think Walker is just a freak talent. I don't know. I could go.
You can't get that at 10.
Maybe, but he may not make it past the Giants, like at number 7. Like I think the Giants are definitely going O-line at 5.
Take Thibodeau or something.
I think they're gonna take an
organization.
I wish I could share in the enthusiasm of that, but I don't know if I see it. I don't know.
They have to go offensive line.
They will. I think they'll get Neal or Icky because I don't think an offensive lineman goes before us anymore. But I think there's going to be some real discussion about trading out of 4 because I think Carolina is going to target Willis if Willis does not go number 2 to the Lions. So look for the Steelers possibly to jump up. Maybe the Falcons now. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I don't mind. Walker at 4. We could make Jermaine Johnson at 10. That's great. Sure.
You want the old double dip. Look, I would be ecstatic to get an edge rusher. I don't know if I would endorse the double dip, though. Brother, you've been ejected from the cockpit.
You're out of here!
Let's see. Jake, just become a member of the channel, brother. Members, drop those JETS in the chat for our new member, Jake. Thank you so much. Edward Ziff says, trade number 4 and number 69 to the Eagles for 15 and 19. Yeah, look, I'm on board for that. Get 2 first-round picks, let them come up and get the edge rusher or whatever they want in front of the Giants. Maybe they're going up to get an offensive lineman. I don't know if they... I don't know what the Eagles need. I've been doing my mock drafts, I've been giving them an edge rusher, a wide receiver, and a corner. I think I have them taking Stingley just because they have so many picks they can afford to like flub one up for a guy that should be an elite talent with some issues as far as the injury history goes. DJ Sin, member of the channel, celebrates 13 months of membership. He drops in with his free super chat, says, sign a quality wide receiver, double dip defensive players. I would love to sign a quality wide receiver, but who is that now? Is it Julio Jones? I don't want to touch Julio. Not at this point, unless he goes for someone that's like, is he going on a Keelan Cole deal? $5 million, $5.5 million? Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to see. I don't think there's a receiver out there right now in free agency that you could target before the draft that would make me feel comfortable about passing on a receiver, at least in the top 2 rounds. So I disagree with you, DJ, but thank you so much. Who we got?
Call from
Kingston.
What's good, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, man, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
I'm just hanging in there, having a good old time with a nice cold brewski. Talk to me. How you feeling tonight?
I see that, man. Enjoy. Talking about rebuilding these Jets. I like where your head's at. Taking an edge rusher at 4 and a receiver at 10. Pick your poison at edge. Thibodeau. Hutchinson if you fall. If he's not going to, Georgia guy. It doesn't really matter who you get. You're going to get a star there and a stud number 10. And I think you get past pick 21, 22, and Tyler Linderbaum is still available. I think you have to consider trading pick 35 and 69, move up, and take him to solidify that line, have 5 legit starters, and then you can finally take McGovern's contract. I think it's $10 million cap hit.
Yeah, you saved 9.
$9 million. My apologies. Yeah, $9 million cap hit. Get rid of him. Use that money elsewhere. And then at pick 38, there'll still be plenty of cornerbacks available, like McCray from Auburn, maybe Gordon from Washington. And then you can build O-line depth in rounds 4 and 5 and take a running back to help out Carter. What do you think about that?
I really like going running back later in this draft. I really like Dalvin Cook's brother, James Cook. That would be the one if I could target a running back. And I don't know where he's projected to go, but I'm big on family lineage, and just watching him play the way he did at Georgia, the guy can cash out of the backfield. If you had him and Carter, love it. Absolutely love it.
Totally agree. He was fun to watch this year. I think you pair those two together, you might be able to get the 4th round. Especially this is running backs aren't too big this year, so I think you may be able to get him in the 4th round.
Yeah, I think there's a real shot that I was talking to O'Leary before this, and he's just like, "Oh, you might be able to get him like undrafted." I was like, "I don't know if he's going that far, but man, if you can get Cook."
Oh no, I said ooh, like. No,
oh yeah. No, if you could get him undrafted, that would be fantastic. It wouldn't shock me if the Jets wind up trading down and like collecting a few more picks, like late round picks, like 5th, 6th, 7th round guys. Or draft picks, so that way they can target guys from the Senior Bowl. And I think undrafted free agent-wise, you're going to see a lot of Senior Bowl prospects target the Jets, target the Lions, because they have that report from them from that time.
Exactly, yeah. That's normally how it goes over the last couple of years. Whoever's been coaching that Senior Bowl has gotten those undrafted free agents late, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where I think the 49ers, when they did it in 2019, they drafted, was it 4 players from the Senior Bowl, and I don't know how many they got after the fact either.
Yeah, that's true. But my biggest thing is if you can get to that 2021 range and Linderbaum is still somewhere available, he'd be perfect for that offense. Perfect.
Ooh, it'd be scary good. But, brother, you've been ejected from that cockpit.
You're out of here!
Thought I saw a member chat in there. Travis, thank you so much for supporting the channel. He celebrates 2 months of membership with a free super chat. He says, What are the chances of us still getting the Honey Badger? I keep seeing reports go Jets. Well, him and Will Parks are friendly, so maybe there's a situation where it happens. I would think we're just headed towards the draft at this point, but I've always liked Honey Badger. I just think we're going younger. Someone in the second round. I think that's where the value at safety is. Not at number 4. I think Hamilton is not the way to go. I like Honey Badger, but I think we're getting younger. All right, boys and girls. Make sure you hit that like button. Going to go back to the phone lines. Get your thoughts. You get 3 minutes on the clock. Want to hear all your thoughts. Who we got?
Call from
Nick.
Nick, what's good, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's going on? I really don't understand why people are so against taking an offensive lineman in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know, I just don't feel like the job on this offensive line is done. Because, I mean, Connor McGovern, I know statistically I think he was like top 10 this year, but, I mean, he's not long-term, I don't think, and I definitely think we can improve at center. So, like, if they took Tyler Linderbaum at 10, I really wouldn't be mad at that.
I wouldn't be mad at it because I trust Douglas to make the right decision. My issue is Joe Douglas fancies himself an offensive line scout, and if you're that good, you should be able to hit on developmental guys in the 4th, 5th round and just groom them.
Right.
Like McGovern, look, if they want to pull the trigger on Linderbaum, I love Linderbaum. I'm a big fan. I think McGovern has some questionable characteristics from like a leadership standpoint in terms of like not helping his quarterback up. Like the whole offensive line sort of had this weird vibe to it last year. So I get why we've been sniffing around at center. We were talked about with Jensen, with Bozeman. I would love to sign Bozeman before the draft, and I don't know if he's signed anywhere.
Definitely.
What was that? If we can,
I said definitely.
Yeah, because if we can get him, then at least you say you solve your center need there. Then you have your line at least for the next few years, depending on what you do with Fant.
Right.
I would say offensive line is a strength of this team. We should have a top 15 offensive line with this unit right now. I think you could get some depth the way we got depth last year for defense in the secondary in the later rounds. I think Joe Douglas should be able to spot talent there. He shouldn't have to spend elite picks on that. Same thing with Robert Saleh. Like I expect him to get some late round gems like a Michael Carter. Like, what am I thinking? Eccles, like those type of guys. Like you should be able to hit on some of your later round picks at the position of knowledge that you have. And right. Daniel Jeremiah's kind of hinted at it too. He said you don't have to build an elite offensive line with all first round picks. And I think he's damn right.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. But in terms of Becton too, just really quick, I wouldn't be opposed to taking a Kwanu at 4. Not a Kwanu and Linderbaum. I definitely don't want to do that. But if they did take a Kwanu at 4, I could kind of understand that because we really don't know what Becton is. And I love Becton. Mm-hmm. I think he's a beast, but we don't know if he could stay healthy because people forget he was great his first year, but he missed a lot of time his first year. Mm-hmm. He wasn't healthy the entire year. So, like...
Yeah, I think he played 13 or 14 of the 16 games, and he was banged up a little bit between that and had like some, came out for a few plays to like catch his breath. I understand the fear, and it wouldn't shock me if they trade Becton, but I think they're going to try and roll with him because it's a high draft pick. Try to make him work because we saw how wow he was his first year when he was out there on the field, and I think he would have been poised to do that this year with AVT next to him. Some legitimate guard help. So I want to see another year from him before we try to move on from him or do anything like that. I would like to retain Fant, but it wouldn't shock me if Fant stayed on this team longer than Becton based on health concerns and maybe, look, remember, Joe Douglas brought in Fant on a whim. He was like a swing tackle, and he was a part-time tight end in Seattle. These are the types of players that Joe Douglas should be hitting on. But, brother, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected
You're out of here!
From the cockpit. All right, let's get to some super chats real quick. Mumtaz drops in with a super chat. Mumtaz says, how about Sauce at 4 and Karlaftis, Johnson, or Walker at 10? KT is a question mark anyway. In my mind, this would work, or we can trade back. Look, I really want this. I want Sauce at 4. I feel like the 4th pick is such a statement pick for your franchise. It's, hey, this is the character. the type of person we want in the locker room. There's 255 draft picks, and we are able to pick our fourth, maybe not our fourth favorite, like the best guy in this draft, one of the best guys in this draft. Especially if a quarterback goes at 2, you're taking one of the top 3 guys at a non-quarterback position with number 4. And I do think Sauce is worthy of that. And I think it's an absolute statement pick for sure. Does he make it to 10? I'm not sure. So you might have to take him at 4. But after paying DJ Reed a 3-year, $33 million contract, and he played like a top 10 corner, if you get your edge rusher, I have a hard time wanting to go Sauce at 4 at this point now. I would love the pick, but I would be concerned, especially now that you start looking at, like, I think the Giants are going to take an edge rusher. I think the Seahawks are probably going to take an edge rusher. So if those two go, especially if Thibodeau goes before the Jets and Hutchinson goes, now maybe that 5th one's there. Do you love whoever's left over? If you like a lot of the edge rushers, do this. I have no problem. But if you have one guy you covet, take him at 4. Hope Sauce falls to 10. If he doesn't fall to 10, trade back. If not, and you're stuck at the 10th pick, go the wide receiver, go the defensive tackle, go the linebacker, do something like that. You can help your team a lot more. But I think edge at 4 frees you up to really do a lot of different things throughout the rest of the draft. But look, I don't hate what you're saying, Mumtaz, at all. Dick Delgado drops him in the super chat, says, rebuild the Jets. I didn't see the 2022 script that the Jets would get over 4 wins. Thanks, Dick. Always good for some type of annoying comment that gets me all fired up. Ugh. Rick drops him in the super chat. Rick says, I like Pierce, the wide receiver. You think he makes it to pick 69? I like Pierce as well. I have no problem with them going with him in the 3rd round. There's a few guys that might wind up making it that far. I really like receiver at 35, though. I think you can go after a Pickens. I think you could go after a Dotson. Maybe Jameson Williams falls. The guys that Treylon Burks kind of, emulates, almost like an A.J. Brown and a Deebo Samuel, went in the 2nd round. He had a worse RAS score, so maybe that's someone that falls. Told you guys I like Pickens. I don't know. I like Pierce, though. I was watching some highlights of him recently. Like today, recently. All right. Call-in number is on the screen. If you can't get through, just keep on calling because it just means a lot of people are calling through. Don't bother leaving a voicemail because I'm never going to listen to it.
Call from
Joe.
Joe! What's good, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, Ryan. What's up?
No, just another day in paradise, brother. Talk to me. How you feeling about the off season?
Good. I tell you, all these young guys calling in, they're all over the place, man. Their
Right?
lack of experience really shows.
Yep. Hey, dude, I was there. I was at it. I was like, I remember back in, 14, 15, when we had the really big wide receiver draft, and I was like, oh, the Louisville Sluggers, they're like, I want them. Like, I know we need receiver, but we could get one in the 2nd round. And then we passed on it, and then everything wound up going to shit. So I can sympathize. You fall in love with a certain player, but, Linderbaum, I think, is one that kind of gets a lot of Jet fans because of the whole Mangold and Mawai sort of love as well. But talk to me. What do you want to see?
Well, Mangold to me probably will be a Hall of Famer one day, and Mawai already is. So, if you get a Hall of Fame center, how can you say no to some extent? But
no,
I get their point, what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. What I want, like we talked about last week, remember we said we think the Sauce is going to be number 4, and then we think Wilson might be 10. But I don't think that's what the Jets, I think, are going to do. I don't think I want Sauce at 4, though. I do think we need a pass rusher.
Yep, I agree.
I think Walker or me, personally, Karlaftis.
He's a hard name. He's a Greek freak, right?
Yeah, it's Greek freak. But I think that's the route they should go. I think cornerback could be good at 10, but not number 4.
Dude, I'm in the same boat. And I Blewett and I were talking about this, how the trades with the Falcons and also the losing of Ridley mixed with the trade with the Seahawks as well has allowed the door to open a little bit more on Sauce falling to 10. If he falls there to 10, I'm running up to the podium and I'm taking him. I don't care. I love the position. I love the player. I love the talent. Like, I just love everything about him, but I'm right there with you. I think edge is so critically important to this defensive scheme and this team in general. Pick your pick of the litter at number 4, and it frees you up the rest of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like you. I think Kayvon Thibodeau is overrated. I do. I don't. It's not so much for his personality. I don't think he's such a bad guy. I've seen him interview with Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Kind of remind me a little bit of him.
Sure.
The way they talk.
Without the whole murder investigation thing.
Well, yeah, of course.
Little shady there. But no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you could get someone like a Ray Lewis at your edge rush position, it'd be worth it.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. But I got to say this, though. We get Traylon Burks in the second round. That's a steal. Let me tell you, he didn't have a good combine, but that guy's got good hands, man.
I agree.
That's it. You're out of here.
That was a great call. I hate ejecting him because I actually thoroughly enjoy his calls normally. That was a good call as well. So I agree. We're on the same wavelength, brother. I think it's edge at 4, and then if Sauce is there at 10, you take him there. Otherwise, you wind up going a receiver or something along those lines. Who we got?
Call from. To accept, press 1.
What's good, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, Ryan, it's me, Charles. How are you?
Not bad. Talk to me. How you feeling tonight?
Good. First of all, it's an honor and pleasure to talk to you for the first time. I'm the guy that emailed you about that Superman thing before.
Oh, no way. It's all right. Dude, my thoughts on Superman, great character. I hate the superpowers. He's the, when you're playing superpowers in the backyard, he's the one that just has every other superpower and you can't beat him and it just gets me frustrated. But enough about that.
I know we're supposed to be talking about the Jets, but he's not the only character that's like that. You got the Martian Manhunter.
See, I don't know who that is. But Superman is the famous superhero. If you had to pick hey, name a superhero, 9 times, maybe not 9 times out of 10, but I would bet the majority of people would say Superman.
First of all, Ryan, I hate to cut you off, but I never really had it. I'm a big Superman fan. I've been a big Superman fan since I was 6. And the thing is, first of all, it's not his fault he was born like that, okay? He was born a Kryptonian. If you're going to blame somebody, blame his fucking parents, okay?
No, I mean, look, I'm blaming the writer. He's just, whoever wrote him up was like, hey, yeah, let's give him every superpower possible, and
Well, he doesn't actually have every superpower.
I know,
he has
the kryptonite
every
thing.
superpower.
But he could jump over sorry. You're getting me fired up. There's a lot of other superheroes I like before Superman. I'll put it that way. I don't hate Superman. I just, I don't know.
The superpowers are just crazy. But the thing is, anyway, I want to talk to you about the Jets, which is the most part I want to talk to you about.
Sure.
How do you feel on Traylon Burks? Are you one of those Jet fans that was upset over his combine or not really?
I would say his combine maybe took me out of the thought of wanting him at 10. I think seeing the receivers that stood out mixed with the combine and the Senior Bowl, I'm more comfortable with a lot of receivers at 35 or even trading back into the first round at the end of the first than I am at taking receiver at number 10. If I were to take a receiver at 10, it would be Garrett or London. In a trade down situation, I would take Burks, if that makes sense. I don't dislike him, but I just like other guys a little bit more at other positions, I think.
That's true. Did you like Metcalfe? I heard a lot of Jet fans talk about Metcalfe.
I've heard a lot of people talk to me about him. I haven't watched enough of him, so I can't give a fair grade, but I've heard he's more of a slot, like a replacement for Crowder. Is that true?
That's true. I mean, Metcalfe's a good receiver, but you know what really pisses me off is that I'm not trying to, but a lot of people are giving up on Becton. That really pisses me off. He's too fat. You know, my dad told me about this really good offensive lineman from the College of Minnesota. I forgot his name.
Daniel Falele. He's 6'7" or 6'8", 6'9", 400 pounds. Guy's enormous.
My dad wants him.
So we had
him. First round in the second round.
So I had the Jets taking him last year. He opted out, and I thought he was going to go into the draft. He wound up not going into the draft. He's only played football for 3 years. So there's a lot of upside there. There's a lot of upside there. The issue with us is you kind of need a fast you kind of need fast linemen to run the zone blocking scheme. And he was I think he was on our Senior Bowl team, and he was getting smoked by edge rushers. And he's kind of a little big for, he's just so big. And then you kind of run into the same possible potential question marks of like, if he gets injured, are you going to run into like a Becton kind of issue with like, he can't just, it's hard for him to recover because when you can't run, like he hurt his leg, that means he can't work out. He's going to balloon in weight. And that's why his injury took longer to come back from than we wanted to.
But he's still a very good player, in my opinion.
Yeah, no. I completely agree. And I think if he can wind up staying healthy, I think there's a real good shot that he's going to be our left tackle for a long time.
And I don't deny his work ethic.
Like, brother, but you're
out of here!
We got another phone call. All right, Jesse, I'll get to your super chat, and Marcus, I'll get to your super chat in just a second. We're going to get this phone call out of the way real quick.
Call from.
What's good, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, Matt.
What's going on?
How
you feeling tonight?
What would you think about trading back from 4 to with the Eagles to 15 and also getting 19?
I like it. I have no problem with that whatsoever. If you make that move, it just concerns me. Like, do they believe strongly enough that there's an edge rusher at 10 that they want, or do they try to go a different position? If you can get 3 first-round picks, because you've traded down, you get the 2 firsts. I mean, heck, you could trade back into the first and do it again. You could have 4 first-round picks this year. Green Bean, I see you in the chat. We're getting all sorts of excited. We were talking about trading back into the first round, how people got to watch the draft stream because it could go friggin' bananas. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think if the Jets trade down with the Eagles, who do you target at 10, 15, and 19?
At 10, Jermaine Johnson, and then 15, Nakobe Dean, and 19, Jamison Williams. And then now that covers our receiver, and linebacker, and pass rush.
That would be my preference. So now
we have the rest of the draft to cover backup lineman, a running back, and maybe a safety.
That's a pretty good plan. If you were to go in and say, okay, number 10, you can get Jermaine Johnson or Walker or Karlaftis, like you're going to get one of your edge rushers there that you really like. If you like a whole bunch of edge rushers and you don't love just one, wait till 10. Then at 15 and 19, you have the opportunity to get Nakobe Dean because I don't think he's going to go before then. Or even Devin Lloyd, if you love Devin Lloyd, like whichever one is your choice. I prefer Dean. I really like Jamison Williams. I don't know if I love him in the first round, but I guess if you go that route, at least you have the opportunity to let him have like a redshirt year and still have 4 more years with him. So I understand that, and I think he could have been the best receiver in the draft. Yeah, look, I'd do it. I have no problem with that. I think you just have to make sure you like enough edge rushers because I don't want to pass on 4 if you wind up running that. Running the risk of missing out on the top edge rushers.
So, and then going into the second round, after getting all those 3, I wouldn't mind even possibly taking a running back to go with Michael Carter at 38, or trading back and still getting one of them good running backs at 38.
So let's say we go edge rusher at 10, you go linebacker, you go receiver in the first round. So you have those 3. Now you have 38 or 35 and 38. I'm probably looking at safety with one of those picks because I think there's going to be a really good one there. And then you probably looking like defensive tackle maybe. I don't know. I don't want to go tight end super early. You could look to trade down, I guess, if there's someone that covets someone like early in the second round because they've had a night to think about it. Maybe they give up a little bit more value than you would have otherwise got. You can see that. Brother, thank you so much for calling in. You have been ejected from the cockpit.
You're out of here!
All right, let's jump into a few super chats real quick. We got Marcus. He says, can we get DK Metcalfe? Maybe. I don't see it as a likely situation. I think we're going to draft our receiver. But if your plan is to take a receiver at 10 and you're like dead set on it, I would at least try to get DK at number 10. I think it's a worthwhile shot, and you pay him the money, whatever it is, $25, $30 million. I mean, realistically, you probably won't have to give him the like $28, $30 million contract, whatever you're looking at for some of these receivers like Hopkins or like Devontae Adams, because of the franchise tag. Like those guys could have been franchise tagged, but do you want to roll the dice on that? I don't know. I would have no problem with trading number 10 for DK if the plan is to go receiver at 10. If the plan is not to go receiver at 10, then I would wait till the second round. And I think there's part of me that thinks if you give DK a monster contract, it almost puts like a, I don't want to say it puts a bad taste in like some of the players on your team's mouth, but like I don't necessarily love it. You know what? Here, let's do a poll question because this is really cool. I saw someone say we should do a poll question. I wish I could do this where my moderators could do the poll so that way we could have fun with it and I just don't have to focus on it. But let's say, should we take wide receiver at 10? And it's going to be an easy yes, no. What do you think? Could be any receiver you want. Yes, no, right there. It's a good question, Metcalfe. Or Marcus. About Metcalfe. Jesse Peterson. Jesse Peterson drops in the super chat, says, Nakobe Dean, first round, please reach or trade up, down. I love Nakobe Dean. Like, when we first did our post-season stream, I was on Richie's channel over on Jets Media, and he was saying, I think we were talking about, like, if there was a player that you could, like, target, who do you really like? And at that point, I was watching Nakobe Dean a lot, and I was like, this guy gets it. He's the violent hitter, the leader on the defense that I think you could absolutely bring in and would just fit like a glove. Absolutely love him. Sideline to sideline linebacker. He's elite. Would love it. I think you got to get him in a trade down situation, and I don't think he makes it past the Patriots at pick 21. We'll see. Shivanshu drops in with a super chat. This is Lima Bean. Lima Bean says, even if Sauce falls to 10, can we afford to risk a redo of the 2014 draft again? Sauce is a better prospect, but do we want to get stuck with a meh wide receiver? # Louisville. So he's talking about when we took the Louisville slugger, the safety from Louisville, Calvin Pryor, at pick 17, 16, whatever that pick was, mid to late teens, and you pass on the receiver. I don't remember off the top of my head who our second round pick was that year. But I think we wound up going like our Darius Stewart, like real late. Was that year? Or was that the Adams draft? I don't remember. You don't want to pass on the receivers. But if you love a lot of the receivers, like if you think there's going to be guys in the second round or might be falling to the end of the first and you're willing to go back up after trading down, I don't know. I think you establish your defense with an edge rusher, with a corner, and a linebacker. If you can get one guy at each tier of your defense, I mean, you're set. You're locked in. I think there's a lot of receivers I like at 35, but there's a lot of concern, and I completely understand where you're coming from, Lima Bean. So I'm looking at the poll. If you guys haven't answered the poll question, that is in the live chat. And it looks like 67% of you are saying that we should take a receiver at number 10. The top dog. Top dog at number 10. Oh, man. I thought I normally have a relatively good pulse on the Jets fanhood. Maybe not.
Call from
Green Bean's beard, man.
What's up, Jeremy? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's going on, man?
I'm hanging in there. Talk to me. How you feeling tonight?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
All right. How would you attack this draft?
I've came full circle. I want to go back to where I was in the beginning, which is I would love to grab our guy at 4. See if one of the edges slip. I wouldn't mind Sauce Gardner at all in that spot, to be honest. But 10, I would love to trade back a little bit.
Are you saying at 4 or 10 grab your guy?
I could grab Sauce at 4 and be perfectly happy.
Oh, yeah, I completely understand. But if you say they don't do that, are you thinking edge or trade down?
Definitely edge if one of the two fall. I mean, I know that you have your problems with Tip, but I think that I think they will. Man, the dream would be Hutch falls, right?
Sure.
but I could see 10 really trading down into that sweet spot, like with Pittsburgh or something, and grabbing the Kobe Dean. I would love that move. I'm all about that move all day long. And if we were to do something with the Eagles with number 4 and get those and get 2 picks, I think that extra pick goes to like a guy like Linderbaum.
If he falls to that pick, so let's say you get your edge at 10 then, and then Linderbaum's there at, say, 15. He gets past Baltimore. He gets past the Texans. Then that would be really cool. And then at 19, you grab Nakobe Dean. And then at 35, you grab, like, Watson. And then at 38, you grab someone like Ceen or Brisker or Petrie. Oh, my God! I would go friggin' nuts. Oh, God, this is what's going to happen on draft night. Ah!
Now you're describing my mocks. You're describing my mock drafts now.
God, my heart's going to explode. This is not good. Dude, I would absolutely love that. Because, look, tight end is something that I'm glad we got 2 tight ends in free agency because I would prefer to go tight end at, like, 3rd, 4th round because where the value is. I really like Charlie Kolar in the event that Jeremy Ruckert's not there. But I think there's a deep, deep tight end class this year.
Oh, absolutely. Kate Otten, Jake Ferguson.
Jelani Woods.
Yeah. There's Charlie Kolar. Yeah. There's a bunch of guys.
Oh, yeah. If there's one player that you covet, like a guy that you think you want on this team, it may not necessarily be feasible, but is there a player that you really like?
People hate this, but I love Christian Watson.
I really like him. 35. If he's the pick at 35, I'm going to be excited.
Oh my God! If he hits 6'5", that speed, it'd be insane.
Oh, it's elite, absolutely elite. If he can go up and get those jump balls too, love it, brother. You've been ejected from the cockpit.
You're out of here,
boys and girls. We got 30 more minutes of call-ins. Phone numbers on the screen. You get 3 minutes to plead your case. Belching. Sorry. Duncan says, Ryan moving to the Shandy? I only had 2 beer. Oh, I had 1 beer. I had the Amstel Light. I get these like random beers from work because like you're not allowed to take your own alcohol onto the golf course. And when we confiscate it from you, if you don't come back and pick it up, your boy gets some stream beers. I think that's where the Shandies came from too. Can't complain. What's up? Oh, God, I really like the second camera. Do you like my little dinosaur? 3D printed, baby. Oh, boy. Who we got?
Call from.
And when we confiscate it from you, if you don't come back...
To accept,
What's
press 1.
good? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm hanging in there. Talk to me. What's on your mind?
What are we thinking about? I'm getting upset about this wide receiver shit.
Ooh, what do you
think? I'm sorry, it's my bad word.
No, it's all right. I own my own channel. I don't care.
All right.
So, just don't drop too many.
I don't like hearing about it in the between 4 and 10.
Yes, I agree. So talk to me. Why don't you want receiver, in the first round, or at least like top 10? And then where would you go? And is there a player you like?
At 4 or 10.
No. Is there a player you like receiver-wise in like the second round?
No, I feel like it's such a wide group. I'm not really sold on one, which is why I don't really want to do it.
Do you want like no receiver in the draft? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
No. I'm thinking second round. But there's such a big group of wide receivers
that you kind of.
I don't really think we have to do it in the first round.
Yeah, look, I'm right there with you. I think that's where it is. I think there's so many good receivers that are in that like late first, early second realm that the value's there. Like go a different position in need at 10. Like you could help your young quarterback by getting the offense of the other team off the field and not scoring points, and then help them in the second round.
Exactly. The only thing I think we need to do with our first 2 picks is edge rusher.
Yes, 100%. That is the key. You have to get one with either 4 or 10, and I think it should be. I shouldn't say it's got to be. It should be 4. Almost the same way that I felt like, as much as I loved CeeDee Lamb that year with Mekhi Becton, left tackle was 100% the pick. Absolutely the right way to go. That's how I feel about edge rusher this year. We just have the luxury of having 2 top 10 picks where we could kind of play a little bit with this.
I just don't particularly like KT.
Yeah, neither do
Thibodeau.
I really don't, and it's not because of the skill. It's just because of the talent at the position aside from him.
There's so much. I'd rather take and it's funny. I'd rather take your guy. You've convinced me that we should take
Sauce?
the quarterback there.
Oh,
yes,
good.
Sauce.
Dude, I love Sauce. So I was on so this is really cool. I don't know if you've ever been on the Twitter Spaces, but Sack Exchange does a really cool Jets Lounge on Twitter. And Tony Richardson was in there. And I asked him the other night, I was like, hey, is there a player you're falling in love with? And he goes, let me tell you. He's like, Sauce Gardner. He's just like, you ask a guy why they play. He goes, why?
He's got everything.
Yeah, what do you play for? He's like, I want to buy a house for my mom. And then he brought up how Kayvon Thibodeau just doesn't seem like he's 100% in on football. And I was like, Tony, you're preaching to the choir. I've been saying this for the last, however many weeks. So it was cool to see, an ex-Jet actually really, really like, the same players that I like. So it was kind of cool. But, brother, thank you so much for calling in. You've been
I'm out of here.
ejected from the cockpit.
You're out of here!
Let me know in the chat if you guys think. So back here, above where is it? Above this light, I'm looking at getting a neon sign that says the cockpit. And I don't know if that's the route I'm going to go. I was originally going to go a picture back there. Trying to figure out how to spice up the cockpit. Who we got?
Call from
West Coast Mo.
What's good, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, just have a quick question for you.
Yeah,
Has to
shoot.
do with a trade down possibility.
Ooh,
I'm just thinking now that the Packers have 2 picks in the first round, actually towards the bottom, 20 and 28, trading down from 10. This has actually led me into discussion with someone else having to do with wide receivers, and a rather heated argument. He was promoting Garrett Wilson to 10, and I'm thinking Chris Olave later on. And I actually think Olave would fit better with what the Jets need now, because they've got these 2 tight ends. Olave's strength is the raw speed burner. He's the type of wide receiver that can rip the top off of the defense. So I'm thinking trade down, and if either pick 20 or 28, take Olave with one of those.
I wouldn't hate Olave. I don't. So you're saying the Packers trade up to get the receiver they want, whether it be London or Wilson or Burks or something.
They go up to get Burke or Wilson.
Yeah, so then we move down. So I wonder what they'd have to give up for that to work for the Jets, because they wouldn't have to give up both firsts, I don't think. I don't know what the value is offhand, but let's say they give up.
The Jets would have to give them a fourth.
Is it 22? I think they own 22, because I think it's the Steelers at 20, the Patriots at 21, and I'm pretty sure the 22nd pick was the Raiders pick. So it'd be 22 or 30 or 22 or 28, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, 22 and 28.
If you could get both firsts from the Packers so they can come up and get their receiver at 10, that's one that's interesting. I don't love Olave. I'd probably go a different receiver. And it's not so much
that opens up.
Yeah.
That opens up for getting a guy like Devin Lloyd, who'll probably be down there. With the other pick.
It definitely does. But I'd almost be tempted, if Dean falls to 22, I would almost be tempted to go Dean first, and then at 28 or whatever it is, go with whatever receiver's falling. Because I do think that there's a potential for between that pick and, say, the 35th pick, that maybe a few might go. I don't know. There's a few other receivers I would go before I went Olave, but I don't hate him by any means. He had a great combine. He might go before us. I could see the Saints possibly targeting him if they wind up going Jameis Winston in free agency. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't mind the trade. Okay. I didn't even think about the Packers, to be honest.
Yeah, no, people haven't yet, because they have. They're still thinking about Devontae Williams departing.
Oh yeah, Devontae Adams, him going to
that's Devontae Adams. Yeah.
Going to Vegas, that was a great move for him, and I love it. All right, brother, thank you so much for calling in. You've been ejected from the cockpit.
That's it. You're out of here.
Boys and girls, make sure you answer our poll question in the live chat, and also call in. Numbers on the screen. You get 3 minutes to plead your case. Talk to me. I want to hear how you would rebuild the New York Jets. Old Davey Etchervy says, Winston signed with the Saints today. Good. I'm glad. That's kind of where I wanted to see him. I actually thought Baker was an outside shot to go to the Saints, go out of division or out of conference. Now I think if he goes to Seattle, I would actually no. I want Baker to go to Carolina and Sam to go to Seattle. That would make me so happy. What's good, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
Oh, talk to me. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. We had a good free agency, I thought. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm ready for the draft. That's my favorite day of the year.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited. Are you going to be watching with Green Bean O'Leary and me?
Of course.
There it is. I love it. So talk to me. How would you approach the draft?
So I just did this mock draft,
Mm-hmm.
and I think in the top 10 we go defense twice. I was getting Sauce at 4 because Kayvon and Hutchinson were gone. And then at 10 I have us going Jermaine Johnson.
Oh, I love that. I really like Jermaine Johnson's personality. I'm pretty sure Trayvon Walker is a military kid, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure his dad was in the military. I have to double check on that before I really preach that too hard. And Jermaine Johnson, I've watched some interviews with him. Really, really like the personality.
Yeah, he didn't give you the question mark Kayvon does. That's what I like about him.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the knock on him is, hey, he went from SEC to ACC, but then he wound up tearing it up in the ACC against top level, not top level, but like good competition. Then he goes to the Senior Bowl against the other guys of his peers, and he just dominated. So like, if he can do that against the seniors, and he can do it like he projects well, he would have been on that Georgia line. He would have been one of those elite, edge rushers that would have won a championship this year. I like him a lot.
Right. So I just had a question about free agency.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on bringing in a guy like Julio Jones?
I don't want him. Unless he winds up taking a contract like Keelan Cole, like a $5.5 million contract on a 1-year deal. I think we could get younger. I don't think he just seems like he's too banged up. He's not the receiver he once was. It's just amazing how far he fell off a cliff. They traded, a second-round pick for him last year, and they're like, nah, we're good. I don't know how much of the contract was an issue, but I think drafting a receiver at this point is probably the better route than going Julio.
Yeah, I really want a receiver for Zach. That's why I would definitely trade 10 for DK. I think I would definitely do that. Even 4, I would consider, to be honest.
I wouldn't trade 4 for DK, but I would trade 10. If the thought is to go receiver at 10, DK, the proven DK, over someone that, you could draft. What if we get the next Kevin White? Like, it's not a sure thing. DK is a sure lockdown number 1 wide receiver. He's 24 years old. Like, you could sign him to a 5-year contract worth $25 million a year, and you got him, like, no questions asked. The guy's healthy too. Brother, thank you so much for calling in. I love the conversation. You've been ejected from the.
That's it. You're out of here.
All right, let's see. Let's get over to Aaron's super chat. Aaron Honore. Honor or Honore? I don't know. Drop some of the super chat. Says, what do you think about Johnson at 4? So Jermaine Johnson at 4. I have talked to a lot of people that fancy themselves a little bit of a scout, and I have seen a lot of people like Johnson at 4. I have no problem with the Jets taking Johnson at 4. I have no problem with the Jets taking, Thibodeau or Walker or Karlaftis or, any of those guys. I think edge rusher at 4 should be the pick, unless you like all of them. If you like all the edge rushers and you want to pull the trigger at pick 10 on whoever's left, green light. But who do you take at 4? Or do you trade down with someone like Philly, who's looking to move up maybe in front of the Giants to get an edge rusher that they don't want to see? Like, maybe they think Thibodeau is the second coming of LT. I would love to trade that pick to the Eagles to make sure that the Giants don't get the next LT, because nothing would burn me up more than watching the Giants get the player that the Jets should have taken, even if it was a player I don't particularly want in Thibodeau. If he's in New York and he's just lighting up New York City, I'm going to be so frustrated. There's also another part of me, if you get Thibodeau and you get Sauce, like maybe like you get the star power of Thibodeau and you get the very calm, composed nature of Sauce, and they can both kind of bring their own element to the game. I could see it. I could see it. Boys and girls, numbers on the screen. Make sure you call in. We've got, what do we got? We got 15 minutes of call-ins left. I want to hear everything you guys have to say, but you got 3 minutes. 3 minutes to plead your case on why you think the Jets should do whatever you think it is that they should do. David says you keep bringing up old scars, saying Tremaine, not Jermaine. Tremaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson. My words are tough. Jermaine Johnson. I screwed that up too. I say fantastic instead of fantastic. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a big dummy.
Call from
George.
George, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's up? What's up?
Hanging out. Talk to me. What do you want to see?
Oh man, I'm from Fresno, California. I'm a big Jets fan over here.
Ooh,
And,
so what's your opinion on Drake London? I'm sure you've seen a little bit more of him than maybe some of us on the East Coast.
Yeah, I think he's over. Like I want Garrett Wilson, but at the same time, Drake London, he only played 8 games, and his freaking, he was going off.
Dude, he's legit. He had 130 yards in 6 of those 8 games.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen that game against, what is it? Is it against Notre Dame and what's that red school that
Iowa?
It's like what Utah, I think it is. One of those games he's just like crazy. Dude, but I just feel like if we would have saw more of him, I think he would have been like, he would have been that guy.
There's a few issues I think people run into with London, and part of it is like make sure the speed's there, because contested catch doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting open. It means that you're not. It could mean that you're not getting open, but it could also mean that your quarterback's not throwing the ball well, because it's not a total apples to apples comparison. Denzel Mims had a high contested catch rate, ran a fast 40, 6'3", like, so he has the metrics to be the guy. London,
I like the way he just plays I just like the way he plays with the ball. You know what I mean? He's aggressive, and he just like gets up and just like
he's
after
a basketball player.
Too, you know what I mean? He likes just taking the hits and just like throwing it in their face. Like you can't guard me.
Yeah, he's a basketball player for sure. I want a receiver with a little attitude, not afraid to block. That's why like Pickens at the top of the second round is really attractive.
Oh my god. Dude, he might. Pickens remind me of. He reminds me of like one of those like Frank Gore players that like gets injured and like becomes a fucking like sorry for cutting.
A steal. No, I get what you're saying, dude. He would have been the top receiver taken if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, and it's like the same thing with Drake London, but I get Garrett Wilson because he gives me Justin Jefferson vibes for some reason. If you look at their measurements, dude, they're literally like identical.
I love Justin Jefferson. If you go back to my rankings for that draft, I was saying I thought it was CeeDee Lamb, and then I was somewhere between Jerry Jeudy and Jefferson. I had Ruggs a little bit further down.
Yeah, that's what they were saying about Justin Jefferson. What they were talking about him, that he was too small for a receiver.
Yeah.
He didn't.
I'm watching him, and I'm like watching Jamar Chase go off, and I'm watching like Jefferson go off, like at the same time. I'm like, dude, I think Jefferson is really good.
Yeah, like Jamar, Garrett Wilson, and Justin Jefferson, I feel like they're like the same player. Like all 3 of them, they all like elusive and like you can literally like throw them ball and they'll make a play on it. This is crazy.
Jamar, I think, is another level above. Like I think he was a safer wide receiver than I think Jefferson might have been considered, and probably maybe a little bit more than Wilson. But I agree. I think they're all elite specimens. Thank you so much for calling in. You've been, you guessed it, ejected
That's it. You're out of here.
Cockpit. All right, let's jump over to the super chat real quick. Where did I see that? Vinay Pillay. Thank you for the super chat. He says, trade up a 2nd and a 4th to get a linebacker in the 1st round. So let's see what that would look like. We'll pull up the draft value chart. All right, so we are looking at a 2nd. So if we did 38 and we did a 4th round pick, we're going to say pick 111. That's 72 points. That's the highest point value. That gives you 590 points, which puts you basically at pick 31 or 32. It gets you to the very tail end. If you go with pick 35 and pick 111, that gets you 620 points, which puts you right about 29 or 30. So that's the tail end of the first round. I would have no problem going that part, especially if you're looking for a receiver that you want to have a little bit longer. I think there's some value in determining how long you can have good cap space for. So quarterback, edge rusher, cornerback, wide receiver, tackle. Wide receiver recently, way more money than the cornerbacks have been getting. So I can understand wanting to pull the trigger on that there. Linebacker in the first round, I love Nakobe Dean. I don't know if linebacker's first round need for the Jets. I wouldn't hate it, though. But Vinny, second and a fourth round pick, tail end of the first, I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Boys and girls, phone number is on the screen. You get 3 minutes to plead your case. I want to hear all your thoughts about the New York Jets and how they should handle the draft. We got 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left. Let's see. Our poll question is going. 66% of you said wide receiver at number 10. 34 said no. I can't believe I'm in the minority. Or at least that big of a minority. That is a drastic swing from where I thought it would be. 244 people voted on that too. Who we got?
Call from
Brad from Minnesota.
Brad from Minnesota, how you doing? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's going on, Ryan?
I'm hanging in there. Talk to me. What you got on your mind?
First thing I want to say on KT, the thing that did it for me is after the interviews with the team, he came out and he said, the Jets really like me. Like, who says that out in public? Every other team's trying to go after you, and you say, this team likes me. Like, just weird, I feel like. No?
Yeah, it's definitely weird. It's almost like he doesn't want to go to the Jets, which, if that's the case, like, look, I'm sorry. I don't want to be anywhere near you. Like, I want someone who's 100% devoted, and I feel like Sauce is that guy. I feel like a lot of the other edge rushers are that guy. I really don't think Thibodeau is that guy.
I agree. I think he's just trying to boost his draft stock. But I sent you a super chat on this a couple of streams ago. I think it's going to piss some people off. But in the draft, we trade down from 4. I think the value in this draft is mid-first round, late first round, and second round. Accumulate picks, get another first this year, middle to the end of the draft, the first next year. And I don't know the value, but and I don't know what we can get given that there's no quarterbacks here at the top end of the draft. But I really think that that's the play.
Are you saying trade down from 4 or trade down from 10? Sorry, I missed it.
Trade down from 4.
Okay.
So make a big move down. Take somebody like Walker at 10. I think the Jets really like Walker. Take him at
Walker
10. If you see a wide receiver there in the middle of middle or end of the first round, take the wide receiver. You could take old linebacker. There's a lot of holes we need to fill, and I just think the value really is in the middle of the first round or the second round of this draft.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think if you're looking at wide receiver and you want to pull the trigger on that, if you slide down into the back end of the first round for a team that's coming up, like go to like a team that's devoted, that wants the wide receiver or wants the quarterback. I think if Willis falls past 2, the Jets and the Steelers or the Jets and the Panthers, there's going to be some conversation with what goes on at pick number 4. I think there's a real shot that the Giants or Jets at 4 or 5, and even the Texans at 3, I think someone could trade out of one of those picks.
Who is your go-to edge outside of Aiden?
Oh, man, that's so tough. I think Walker has some fantastic flexibility, and I think the versatility is something that the Jets staff really does like. Like, he can play D-tackle or edge, and I want to see him more on the edge rush side of things. Jermaine Johnson, I really like.
You think he falls to 10?
I don't know. I think one of them will be there. And I like enough of the edge rushers where I'm fine taking one at 10 and like pulling the trigger on Sauce or a trade down at 4.
Last question for you, and I love Zach Wilson. I'll preface this. Love it more than anything. But gun to your head, is Zach Wilson here in 6 years?
It's so tough to know right now. I believe he's got the talent. When you look at the elite talent that just came into the AFC, you're talking Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Herbert, Allen, Burrow, like legitimate guys. I do think that Zach Wilson has the measurables from an athletic standpoint. that he can be in that upper echelon of quarterback. Now it's just a matter of if he can hit that and if that's going to be where he shines. And I think you give him 2 more years. I think you absolutely give him next year. And then if he doesn't live up to the expectations in 2022, I think you bring in someone like a Jimmy Garoppolo to compete with him. And then depending on how things shake out, if the draft picks outside of Wilson look like they're hitting, I think Douglas gets another shot. I think if the players are playing hard for Saleh, I think he gets another shot. But I think you really hope that Zach Wilson is the guy because I love the attributes. I think he can be elite, just a matter of if he puts it all together. And I think the Jets have the team or have the assets to build the team around him right now. But brother, thank you so much for the call, and you've been ejected.
You're out of here!
All right, I see a super chat. Let's get over to that. Green Empire Lawn Care. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, hey, what if we grab Thibodeau, pick 4, Karlaftis at 10, grab Sky Moore in the 3rd round. Have you seen any highlights on Sky Moore? Also, I can't call. That's all right. You don't have to call. Super chats get priority because your boy's got to make some cheddar. But yeah, no, I think I would not go with the edge rushers. I would not double dip. I like Karlaftis, I like Thibodeau, I like Walker, and I like Jermaine Johnson. And I would take one of them at 4 or 10. But I would not double dip. I think cornerback, wide receiver are bigger needs than 2 edge rushers. Because you want to hope that Carl Lawson comes back to 100%. And honestly, with the way that Robert Saleh has worked his defense and the acumen that he has to find talent and build some talent up, I think just like I said with Joe Douglas earlier, Joe Douglas should be able to hit on offensive linemen late in the draft, and I think Robert Saleh, if he's worth his salt, should be able to at least hit on one of them over the course of the undrafted free agency or a later round draft pick. So I would not go both. I haven't watched enough of Sky Moore because I really want receiver in the top 2 rounds, so that's kind of where I've focused a lot of my tape and research. So I don't know. There's that. Tony drops in with super chat. Thank you, Tony. Tony says, I think we trade back at pick 4. Or no, I think we take... Hold on. All right. I think we take trade down at pick 4. Thibodeau, Walker, Johnson, whichever JD thinks is best. Pick 10 wide receivers. Okay, so he thinks we take an edge rusher at 4. Thibodeau, Walker, or Johnson, whichever one Joe Douglas thinks is best. Completely agree. Absolutely think that is the direction we should go. And then he says, pick 10 best wide receivers, no excuses for Zach. Yeah, look, I don't have any problem with that. If they want to say, hey, we are building an absolute beast of an offense for Zach Wilson, there's going to be no excuses. Fine. Totally fine with that. We'll see if that's how they do it. Guys, there is a new poll in the live chat with 95 votes. Are you going to be watching the Talkin' Jets draft party? We are going to be streaming all 3 days of the draft. We got some great people that are going to be coming on to give their thoughts throughout the course of those 3 days. And we're going to be showing the commissioner on TV as he makes the picks, and you're going to see me, Green Bean, and O'Leary's reactions in live time. Live time meaning like slightly lagged because you guys are going to see the picks first with cable. We're streaming it. There's going to be a delayed reaction. So you can watch the pick via the draft and then hop back to see our reactions. Gonna be crazy. Gonna be absolutely bananas. Banana land. Boys and girls, we got 2 minutes. We're going to take one more phone call. So let's see. See what happens. Phone number's on the screen. You got 3 minutes to plead your case. Which direction do the Jets go in the NFL draft? I could have been the guy from Madden. EA Sports. It's in the game. Sometimes when I do my intros and things like that, I'm like, oh, way too intense. I'm like, man, could you imagine if I carried that energy through the entire thing? I'd probably pass out.
Call from.
Mushroom.
Hey, what's good, dude? Welcome to the cockpit. I saw a comment that I want to mention real quick in the chat, and then I'll put you on the 3-minute timer to hear your thoughts. Nick H. says, why is he called Sauce Gardner? It's because when he was in youth football, his youth football coach noticed that he had an affinity for dipping sauces. and gave him the nickname Sauce Gardner. His favorite sauce, sriracha, from Wendy's. Fun fact. Sorry about that. Welcome to the cockpit. Talk to me. How you feeling tonight?
Very good. How are you, Ryan?
Oh, I just love it. Drinking a few beers, talking with some of my favorite people in the world. I want to hear from you. What do you think the Jets should do?
All right. I'm going pass rusher at 4, wide receiver at 10. I want to go like running back high.
Okay.
Like in the early second rounds. Those 35 and 38, right? I think in the second round we have.
Yep.
I think for those we go with either linebacker and running back. And then for the late rounds, just some D-line, some O-line, some depth, and, and more backs. I'll always get some more backs, pick them up. But because I think running backs, we tend to there's always injury. So I want another Carter-type running back, with some talent.
I want someone that'll knife up the middle, and I want someone who can catch out of the backfield and break a tackle and go the distance. So someone that compares to Carter that I really like. I really like James Cook. Watch him. If you haven't watched him, he's the running back from Georgia. His brother is Dalvin Cook, the running back for the Vikings. And I would have taken Dalvin Cook at number 6. Was it 6 that year? Or 3? I think it was 3, the Christian McCaffrey draft. But I would have absolutely pulled the trigger whenever that was. No, that's got to be the Jamal draft then.
But I think we should, I'm crossing my finger if Zach makes a step and stays injury-free. That's the big thing.
I think so.
And,
if we stay healthy,
I think we're gonna be a decent team. Of course we have to get lucky with injury. We can stay a healthy team. There's something there.
I think so too. I think if you can have think about it this year. This is Robert Saleh's first year with Carl Lawson, with all these other players. You're gonna infuse a ton of talent. His first year with Becton, really. We basically saw our team without our top 2020 pick and our marquee free agent that we brought in 2021. We'll see.
So who's going to be, how many, I know I have to probably get up, but who's going to be our right guard? You're going to depend on Becton for the left?
Oh, you're saying
left tackle? Sorry.
So if I'm if I'm going from left to right, I'm going to say Becton, left tackle, AVT, right, left guard, McGovern, center, or a draft pick would be nice. Right guard would be Laken Tomlinson. Right tackle would be Fant. But I think you go into training camp and you say, hey, look, it's an open competition. Fant played his ass off. If you want to play him at left tackle and say, hey, Becton, you're moving back over to right tackle like you were, for that 1 year at Louisville. Okay, fine. I have no problem with that. I think that Fant has earned the starting job on that side. But I do think it should be a competition just because you drafted Becton so high.
No, but Becton, Becton has to show something professionally. It seems like he needs to get it up. But it was a pleasure talking to you. That was fun.
Yeah, of course, dude. I look forward to calling in next time. Are you going to be hanging out with us for draft night?
Probably. I'll try to get in with you guys.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Brother. Thank you so much for calling in. You have been ejected.
That's it. You're out of here.
Boys and girls, I love it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. It's been a fun call-in show. Green Bean is going to be doing his mock from what I heard. He will be live on his channel, so make sure you head over to him. If you guys have not found out that Green Bean O'Leary and I do a 3-day live stream. It is a marathon. It is so much fun. We wind up having Joe Blewett on, Sabo's coming on, Richie from Jets Media is coming on, Jake Asman's coming on. Everyone's going to be jumping into the stream at some point, give their thoughts on the Jets picks. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to be giving away some Jet jerseys, maybe some tickets. We're going to have a lot of fun. Going to have a whole lot of fun. But boys and girls, thank you so much for hanging out. My name's Ryan. This is Jets Talk. Signing off. Jets.